All right, B, you can run it down anytime you're ready. Um, this is it, y'all. Y'all wanted to know, and we got everybody's opinions in here about Sweet Pea Whitaker versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I'll wait till the end to put my response. But go ahead, B.
Some people may know, some people may not. So Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, basically his first loss was in 1998 against Ramirez, robbery. His second loss was in 1993 against Chavez. I don't know if that was a loss, I believe that was a draw, that bout. Again, many people believe that Whitaker should have won that fight. And then he lost his bout to Oscar De La Hoya in 1997. De La Hoya was knocked down in that fight, I believe, and I believe that Whitaker was deducted a point as well. Whitaker made 9 defences, or 8 or 9 defences of his welterweight title, so he was dominant, something Mayweather has not been. And if you look at Whitaker's record, it's littered with names: Ramirez, Chavez, De La Hoya. He even fought Mayweather's uncle Roger, his trainer, the great Azuma Nelson, the Ghanaian, Felix Trinidad. So his record is littered with undefeated fighters. His record is littered with fighting great fighters. He unified the lightweight division. He won titles in the light welterweight division, the light middleweight division, and dominant in the welterweight division. Much the same as Floyd Mayweather, although Floyd Mayweather is missing that dominance factor in the welterweight division that I feel Pernell Whitaker established. Pernell Whitaker, really, you can question all of his defeats, apart from obviously the later ones when I believe a fight was, it was announced a winner or something when he fought the Russian guy, and then it was ruled a no contest because Whitaker tested positive for cocaine after the fight. And then he came back, I believe that was in 2001, that fight. He also lost to Felix Trinidad later on in his career. Trinidad was undefeated, he was a monster himself, so there's no shame in losing to the great Felix Trinidad. So this fight is intriguing because both of these guys have very similar styles. Pernell Whitaker, off the top of my head, I don't think he was a huge knockout artist, I don't think he had a huge knockout ratio, but he was an excellent boxer, an excellent mover. He had excellent reflexes, just the same as Floyd Mayweather. So this is something we have never seen Floyd Mayweather in the ring with, like a carbon of himself. Really hard to quantify this one, who would win this fight. Initially when I first seen the question, I was thinking Mayweather, and then when I started kind of looking into it a little bit more, I was thinking kind of Whitaker. So it's a really, really hard one to call. If this fight was in the welterweight division, I'd probably have to go with Pernell Whitaker, but I believe a lot of people, myself included, tend to hold these fighters from a previous era in a higher regard. People will know what I'm referring to. It's kind of really hard to believe how good someone is and to really appreciate how good they are until they're gone from the sport and you look back.
Yep, and ever since I was a kid, back in the 80s, I said, let me bring somebody in here from the 80s. They used to watch boxing in the 80s. Sorry, new guys, y'all just don't really understand what it's like unless you really was watching boxing back in the 80s. This is a conversation for people who was back in the 80s watching boxing, who knew Pernell Whitaker, not somebody that went back and watched some videos on YouTube, even though that is a good thing to do, to get some background on fights and everything else and comparing styles. But this is the people who really kind of know. So I'm going to get Mac in here, my cuz, and I'm getting in. Go ahead.
You right now, man. His style, like what Tyson said, it was impregnable, but it is for an ambiguous style. Pernell Whitaker was the best thing that boxing has seen from a defensive standpoint since Willie Pep. You know, I've seen Willie Pep fight in the ring, and the man's defense was what they said it was. You know, a lot of fighters didn't appreciate what Willie Pep used to bring to the ring, but his defense was very, very, very cute, and he anticipated the punches just as Whitaker did, and Mayweather have it. Now they both in a great class here, so the argument is plausible, but you couldn't find a single description that would adequately describe one person better than the other. You know, it's just like a breakdancing contest. You know, it's like, how you gonna judge a winner of that? But you gotta look at the era in which they fought. There was a lot of great fighters at that time where you didn't know, was it gonna be this guy, or was it gonna be that guy? You know, it was more of a 50-50 chance than it is now with these young guys. You know, those guys were trained for 15 rounds. You know, and these younger guys here, they train for 12, and they can really only fight like 9 rounds. You know, I was in the 80s, man. I came up watching these guys and Whitaker in the 90s when Ray Leonard and all those guys was going out the game.
Yep.
He was the one in the early 90s that was keeping the brothers in the game watching it.
Yep.
For the lightweight. Because we had Tyson and all that going on, you know, in the lightweight. Whitaker was the man.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, the 84 Olympic, man, come on. Pernell Whitaker was finesse. Now, Mayweather, he's an animal, too. But he ain't nowhere near what Pernell was to the game. Because how was Mayweather going to deal with somebody that was slicker than him in the ring? Because he wasn't going to hit Pernell the way he hit these guys. Pernell would have anticipated every move Mayweather made in that ring. Look what he did to Roger. Roger trained Floyd, and Floyd fight like Roger. So, I mean, come on. The shoulder roll, come on. He ain't seen all them styles before, man. They didn't seen all that in the gym. So, they didn't seen it all, and Floyd ain't gonna bring nothing in that ring that Whitaker ain't seen before.
All right. All right, cuz. Well, I'm gonna hit you back, man. Thank you for this, and I'll hit you back, man. All right. Now, let me have my say. Oh, I'm sorry. You still? Okay. You still online? Oh, thank you. All right, hold on. All right. Here we go. Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Pernell Whitaker contrast. It's almost difficult to almost impossible to score these guys against each other and say, what if Floyd fought him at 135? How would he do? And judging them by opponent, it's not even going to work. You can't do that. You have to judge them by styles in the ring and deal with what they had to deal with. I mean, it's true all these names were out there and all these guys were great fighters at one point in time. You got to judge how the styles were that they fought against. And so far, Floyd Mayweather's fought against the same styles that presented themselves to Pernell Whitaker. And I think Floyd Mayweather kind of dealt with them a lot more easier than Pernell Whitaker did. Pernell Whitaker was knocked down a lot of times. He did get hit a lot. He didn't get hit as many times as people would like to think. I think Mayweather could take more shots better than Pernell Whitaker could. I've seen Pernell Whitaker rocked a lot of times in the ring, and he got knocked down a few times, like I just said, and he still came back, and I think he was great against protecting against body punches. But substance abuse over the years probably diminished a lot of his skills, because I felt he could have done a lot better with himself as far as if he stayed active in the game. But being depressed over the fighting game and how his career was going and with the Duvas, and it really tore him down. And he put the fight of his life against Oscar De La Hoya, even though he wasn't as active as Floyd Mayweather is. Floyd Mayweather was defensive, but he wasn't too defensive to the point that he wasn't active offensively. And I think Floyd Mayweather's offense with his defense would have trumped Pernell Whitaker. And here's a note for those who some probably know and probably are not in the know. When Floyd Mayweather in 95, 96 was an amateur, he was sparring and training with Pernell Whitaker and Frankie Randall. And Floyd Mayweather himself was besting Whitaker and Randall, but he held back because he didn't want to make them mad and they kick him out of there. So he had to hold back a little and let them get his. But he was holding back and was doing well for himself. I asked about that from other Olympians who's also there and witnessed what had happened between the two. So that was just something to let you guys know. That probably would have no relevance on the fight as far as like where they were at that time. But I say Mayweather at a lighter weight had a better shot than Mayweather at welterweight. Mayweather at welterweight wouldn't have probably knocked him out. It would have probably been a little bit more competitive fight. But Mayweather at a lighter weight, with the movement he used by using his legs more and not being as flat-footed. This flat-footed Mayweather, it might have been a tougher fight for him. But using his legs would have made it a better fight. That's it. That's my wrap on it. Everybody else debate on it and have fun with it. Peace.